ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 50, verse number 42. So in the previous class we studied how Krishna and Balram, they defeated Jarasandha, killed all his army, but spared his life because Krishna wanted that Jarasandha comes back with more people, more army, and this way Krishna would fulfill the purpose of his appearance on earth, at least one of the purpose, that is removing the burden of the earth. And then we read how he was received with big pomp and show, celebration, music, dancing, as a victor over the enemy. So now it is being described what happened, because this thing happened 17 times. So that is being described here now in one shloka. Evam saptadasha kritva stavatyakshaunihi balaha yudhe magadho raja yadubhi krishna palitaihi. So in this way, King Jarasandha, he brought army same amount, that is 23 akshoni, tavati akshoni bala, 17 times total. So one time is already over, then he came 16 times more. So he is very persistent. People take to bhakti, they are not as persistent as Jarasandha is. Materialistic people are more persistent in pursuing their goals than, generally speaking, not all, spiritual people. They become disheartened quickly or deviated. So you see how firm he is in his goal, which is unachievable. He cannot defeat Krishna, but still he is not giving up. If he did it once, twice, after some time he should say, oh, it's not possible. But he keeps coming again and again and again. So we should learn from this that how we have to be very fixed on the path of bhakti, because this is achievable. He is fixed on something which is not achievable. Still he is not giving up, he is not losing his utsaha, nishya, dharya. Right? So we have to learn this. Sayudhe magadho raja yadubhi krishna palitai. So he came and he fought with the army of Yadavas, which was protected by Krishna. So of course there is not much possibility for him to achieve any success. So tavatya treyovinshti sankhya kshonyo balam sainyam yasase. So tavatya means as many, which means 23. So somehow he was stuck on 23 figure. So he will not come with less. He will bring that much. We don't know the reason for 23. 18 plus 5. So there are 24 elements. Maybe he is the 24th and he has all the Prakriti with him. So he brought that much army. This was his bala, his sainyam, and he came again and again. Yes, Purushottam Prabhu, you have something to say?
Question from yesterday is, when we say Krishna and Balaram killed all his armies, everyone is killed, and then he didn't want to go to Magad, but then his king friends who were seems like not killed, then they were there present in the war, at the war side, and they advised him.
Yeah.
Or that's
yes. Maybe they ran away. It was big army, so some people must have run away, sparing their life. There were maybe his sidekicks. So Krishna spared them. Otherwise, how will he go back? Kings also had their protectors when they fight. So maybe they are ones like that. It's like in Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter, Duryodhana is saying that Bhishma meva virakshanta, that protect Bhishma from all sides, right? So kings, they were fighting, but they also had people around them to protect. All the big heroes would have that. So maybe these were the kings who were protecting him. and they were not killed. Because Krishna had his plan, that he wanted Jarasandha to be spared and go back. So he left some people around him. So Akshīnvanastad balam sarvam Vishnuyah Krishna tejasa hatesu sveshu nikeshu tyaktayad haribhir nirpaha. So every time he came, then his balam, his sanya, his force was killed, Akshīnvan. And sarvam Vishnaya Krishna tejasa, the Vrishnis who were empowered by Krishna's strength, so they killed every time. Not only Krishna was killing, now they were also empowered by him. So hatesu sveshu anikeshu tyaktayad haribhir nirpa. And then when all his army was killed, but he was spared, tyakta, so therefore he went back, O king. Nirpa is both ways. I think some places there is no Visarga, then it is for Parikshit. Otherwise it is for Jarasandha. So Akshīnvan Kshayam Ninyu. Akshīnvan means that they were destroyed. Their army was destroyed. So now comes the 18th time. 18, you know, is an interesting number in our literature. Gita 18, chapter 18, Puranas, 18 days of fight, 18 times, right? So 18 is good number. So Ashtadasma Sangram में आगामिनी तदंतरा नारद प्रेषितो वीरो यवनः प्रत्यदृश्यत. So when 18th was about to happen, Agamini. So Jarasandha had not yet come 18th time, but he was planning to come. So therefore he says Ashtadasa Sangrame Agamini, means the next, the future, the 18th one. So before that, Tadantara, then Narada, he sent another guy, that you go and you fight. So Narada Preshito Viro Yavanaha Pratyadrishyata. So at that time, Yavana, this Kalayavana, who was very powerful, he was very heroic. So he appeared there. And he came with a big army, bigger than Jarasandha. It is unimaginable. There are many countries in the world that don't have population like that. So how much he had? So Rirodha Mathuram etya Tisri Bhir Mlecha Koti Bhi. He had 300 million. That is the population of America. So that many people he brought, and they were all Mlechas. From where he brought this much? So they came to Mathura and they surrounded it. So Mathura has faced problems right from the beginning up to the present times. So many times the temples were destroyed here. So Niloke cha pratidvando Vrishnis Chutra Atma Sammitat. So he was so powerful that on the whole planet Earth there was nobody who could fight with him. Apratidvanda. He was world champion, Olympic champion, fighting. So why did he come here? Because Narada sent to him. He says, you are so good at fighting, the only people who can fight with you are the Yadavas. There is no one else who can stand your chivalry. So therefore he heard this from Narada, that Atma Sammitan, that these Yadavas, they are like him, the Vrishnis Yadavas. So that's why he came here. So who is this Kalayavana? There is a story of Kalayavana described in Vishnu Purana. So he writes a summary of that here. Narada Prerita iti Vishnu Purane Katha. So it is said Narada Prerita, or different reading Narada Preshita. So sent by Narada. Because Narada is good, externally he looks like he always causing trouble. But actually he is an agent of Bhagavan. So he does things which externally look troublesome, but he is actually working to please Bhagavan. So he wanted this Kalayavana to be smashed. So therefore he called him. He says, what are you doing, going here and there? Right? So he also sent Hiranyaksha when he was fighting, that go fight there. So the story is like this. Yatha kadachit gargyah swashalena shanda iti parihasita. So there was some fellow in the Garga dynasty. You know Garga Muni. He is the one who did the ceremony for. So he is the priest of the Yadavas. So in Garga, the follower of Garga are called Gargya. Now you know Nyat Pratyaya, Adi Vriddhi came in Tadhita. So he is called Gargya. So this Gargya was there, maybe some grandson of Garga Muni, who knows. So his wife's brother, he called him impotent. Maybe he was not having any son. His sister was married to him, but no son. So he told him, you are impotent. So in India, this relationship of brother-in-law, they both are called brother-in-law to each other. Right? In Hindi, Sanskrit, we have different names. But I think in English, both are brother-in-law. So they are brothers-in-law. So this is considered as a very jovial relationship. Means people joke. These relations, like Arjuna and Krishna, they are also not only friends, but they are also brother-in-law. So that's why Arjuna is asking, please forgive me, I have joked with you. Remember in 11th chapter, he says, sometimes I made fun of you secretly or even in front of others. Because he was also brother-in-law. And generally, the sister's husband, he has the upper hand. Means he is considered as more respectable of the two. So he takes advantage of that. So here it is the other way around. So he called his sister's husband as impotent. If the other guy would have called, he should tolerate it. But he is calling back, this is intolerable. So he felt very insulted by that. So this is how Ahankara works. Ahankara, you have been studying Ahankara for a long time now. Ahankara, the whole study is about the Ahankara. And the Yadavas who were standing there, they laughed. So this laughing also you have to learn how to control. Not under every situation, not everywhere you should laugh. It has its own proper place. So now because they laughed, this became even a bigger disgrace for him. This Gargya. He felt completely insulted. If they had not laughed, it would not have been a big deal. So he got angry at the Yadavas, who did not call him impotent, who had only laughed at it. They only derived some pleasure from it, but it was at the wrong cost of wrong person. He is a Brahmana, He is the son of the grandson of the priest. So he got very upset. So therefore he says, Tata Srutva Yadavo Bahu Jahasu. So by hearing that, he made fun of him first. And then when he was making fun, then Yadavas also started laughing. And not once or twice, they laughed a lot. So he felt very embarrassed. Tata tesham hasyene bahu kupito. So then this Gargya, he became very much insulted. And which means his ahankara was hurt. Then when ahankara is hurt, then you cannot live in peace. So when your ahankara is hurt, you become disturbed, right? And how much you become disturbed, that depends how much your ahankara is hurt. Sometimes ahankara is bruised very little, so you can just tolerate it. But sometimes it has a big wound. So then it becomes intolerable. You cannot forget it. You cannot fall asleep. Right? You are burning inside. It's like a fire. So he left Mathura and he went to South India to take revenge. And what he did, that Dakshinapatham gatva Yadav bhayankro me putro bhavatu iti sankalpye ayashuna bhanjano Mahadevam aradhya dvadas varshante tasmat svavishtam prapya. So he went to South India and he worshipped Mahadev, Devadeva Mahadev, because he is a little easy to please. But not that easy. For 12 years he did tapasya and worship of Mahadev. For 12 years. That's why I'm saying that people come to bhakti path, little problem, oh, the food is not tasty here, oh, this is not. Yeah, this is serious. You know what he was doing? He was eating iron powder. Like when you cut iron, powder comes, that's what he was eating. So one thing was that he has no iron deficiency. Because sometimes people have become iron deficient and then they have to take tablets for that. So he was very strong in iron. I don't know about the other minerals. So he was eating iron powder for 12 years. And here you don't get food according to your choice for 2 days, then freak out. MBT, 7 flower, whatever, 11 flower. Murli wala. So 12 years is not small time. Just think of his determination. And determination for what? He says, I want one son who will give hell to the Yadavas. That's all. Now what is the benefit he is going to get from this? So much tapasya, after this his stomach will be spoiled. He won't be able to digest chapati anymore. His stomach is not used to that anymore. So just for a stupid thing he is doing this. So this is the inspiration we have to take from these stories. That people like Jarasandha, Kalayavana, how fixed they are. Here we got little problem. Oh, why Krishna is not helping me this? Why Krishna is not doing this to me? I am his devotee. He says, Yog Shema Vahamyaham. So you have not done anything, but you want that he does everything for you. So amazing, you know. So he is already indebted to you because after all you are putting tilak. You have taken also diksha. So what more you want? Devotees think like this, what more you want? Now Krishna should serve me. I've changed my name. I'm calling myself Krishna Das. So now he should serve me. So therefore, see his determination, his fixity, and he has to be enthusiastic. There was nobody giving him class every day and inspiring him that yes, don't become demoralized, don't become depressed, continue. One day Mahadev will come and your wish will be fulfilled. What stupid wish, So this is what he did. So after 12 years, then Mahadev appeared. So tasmat svabhishtam varam prapya, and he gave him his, because Mahadev does not care what you want. Okay. If Krishna was there, he would have given him advice. He says, ask something better, So Mahadev said, okay. So how he got this son then? Kalayavana. See the story, how much effort he has to make. Still, not that he got son. So Hrishan, he became so happy with this. This is happiness. Swagriham agachan aputrakena yavaneshwarena putrartham savrita. So then there was a king of the Yavanas. There was some tribe of Yavanas living in the tribal area, wherever, we don't know where they were living. So he did not have a son. And then he got the news that this guy is going to get a son. So he approached him, because he was also not having a son. So he said that you come and you produce son in my wife. So what a situation. After 12 years of tapasya, he is a Brahmana, venerable descendant of Garga Muni, who did the name giving ceremony for Krishna, Gargacharya. Now he is going to impregnate the wife of the Yavana. So what will happen to his Brahmanatva? He will still remain a Brahmana. So he did it, and that's how Kalayavana was produced. So this Shiva's boon came through Kalayavana. And this Kalayavana is called Kalayavana because he was very black in color. He was very fierce looking, but very powerful. He was like a Kala. Kala also means death. So that is the story of Kalayavana. So Savrutas tad bharyayam Kalayavanam putram janayamasa. So he produced this son called Kalayavan in the wife of this king of the Yavanas. Such a Kalayavana mahabala unmattaha prithivyam idanim ke balino nirpaiti naradam prapacha. So this Kalayavana was very, very powerful, very strong. And the strong people and balam pareshaya paripidanaya khalasya sadho vipritameda. So vidya vivadaya dhanam madaya shakti paresham paripidanaya. This is what the rascal people do. If they have wealth, if they have vidya, that is for vivada. If they have knowledge, then debate. And if they have wealth, then that is increases their pride. And if they have Shakti, physical power, then give trouble to others. That's the pleasure. So he went around all over the earth. Nobody wanted to fight with him. Then he went to Narada Rishi. He said, you go everywhere so you know who are the powerful people. Tell me with whom I can fight. So Narada says, yes, I have a solution for you. There's another guy who is also black. You are Kali and he is Krishna. So he will take care of you. So that's how he came. Swasacha yadun prahaya evam narad prashito mathurayam drishto babhuva. So this is how he came to Mathura. So he has not seen Krishna, but he knew that he is in Mathura, so he came and surrounded Mathura. So aho yadunam vrijnam praptam hi ubhayato mahat tam drishtva chintayat Krishna sankarshana sahayavan. Aho yadunam vrijnam praptam hi ubhayato mahat. So when Krishna saw him, then along with Sankarshan, Sri Balaram, then he thought, he says that now the Yadavas, they have fallen into a big trouble, because the trouble is coming from two sides. One is Kalayavana has come and Jarasandha was about to come. So how we are going to handle this? So this is, he said that Yavnoyam nirundhe asman adyatavan mahabalaha magdhopi advasva asvova parasvova gamishyati. So he says that on one side we have this Yavana who is surrounding Mathura with his big army. And then we have, and he is Mahabala. And then King Jarasandha will come soon. Either he may come today, he may come tomorrow, or he may come day after tomorrow, but surely he is going to come. So we have to think about it. How are we going to take care of these two? Because if I fight with this, then Magadha, he may enter inside the city and arrest Ugrasena, Vasudeva, other people, and take them or kill them, we don't know. So we have to think of some solution for this. This is what he thought and consulted with Balaram. So Krishna Yadava Snehavishta Stavada Chintayat. So being very affectionate on Yadavas, Krishna thought, Ubhayato Yavanat Jarasandhach. So now we have problem coming from Jarasandha as well as from the Yavana. Avyor yuddhyato rasya yadi aganta jarasutaha bandhun vadhishyati yathva neshyate swapuram bali. So he said that, he's talking to Balaram, that if when both of us are fighting, and at that time if Jarasandha comes, then he will kill our relatives or he can arrest them and take them to his kingdom as hostages. And then we have to get them released. So that will be a big problem. Tasmadadya vidhasyamo durgam dvipada durgamam tatra gyatin samadhaya yavanam ghatiyamahe. So then what is he planning? He says, therefore I am going to build a fort today. And I will build a fort which will be inaccessible to human beings. Dvipada durgamam. Dvipada means two-legged people won't be able to reach there. Fish can go or birds can go, but not human beings. So they will not be able to go there. And then I will put all my relatives there, and then I will kill this Yavana. So this is what he planned. So this is how Dwarka was built in an urgency, like the city of Venice in Italy. So it was built also like that because the Scandinavians, they were coming from the north and attacking, right? You don't know? You know Venice? You've been there? I went So Venice. Venice is a city inside the sea in Italy. So it's separate from the land. So this is because these people were coming from these areas. What are those? Finland and Scandinavians. So they are fighters. So they will descend and fight and attack. So these people got troubled. This is, we have to go inside the water, then they cannot come there because there is a bridge and they can break the bridge. So this whole city is on the water. It's quite amazing that they have this big woods. This was built few hundred years ago, still there. So they have big pillars made from wood, and on top of that there is wood, and there everything is there, even church is there. It's quite amazing what they have done. So Krishna did it much before them. And that Venice is not that far away into the water. Dwarka is very much inside. And now they have found certain remnants of Dwarka, archaeological department. It's not just a story, it is true. They found some walls, even some wood pieces, many things. So therefore he said that I am going to make this. And the other, Krishna is also very thoughtful. The other reason was that they knew, it was known that Krishna, he lived in Vraj. And Vraj people liked him very much. So they can also come and trouble them. Because if somebody is your enemy, that enemy can run, but if he has some people whom he loves, then they can give trouble to them, and then he has to come. So Krishna wanted to make sure that people think that I have nothing to do with these Vrajvasis. That's why he went so far away. So it will look like that he doesn't care for these Vrajvasis. So therefore if you trouble to these poor people, he is not going to come. So what is the point? So this was also his thinking, that he protected the Vrajvasis by going so much far away that no one will ever think that Krishna has anything to do with them. Because who will go in those days that far away if you love these people? So that's why he protected the residents of Mathura and also Vrajvasis by going to Dwarka. So asya anena, there is no commentary. So iti sammantra bhagavan durgam dvadasa yojanam antah samudre nagaram krishnadbhutam achikarat. So consulting like this with his brother Balram, then he made a fort. So he just did not make a city, but it was like a fort. Because the purpose was, because Durgam, the word Durgam means which is not easy to cross. So he made a very nice fort, and this was Dvadas Yojana. So it was in maybe what you call circumference of 12 yojana. One yojana is 4 crosses and 1 cross is 2 miles. So 96 square miles, something like that. So that's quite big, taking everybody from here. So this was within the Arabian Sea, Anta Samudre Nagaram. And it was not only a fort but also Nagar. So both words are used. Means it was just not fort only. Forts generally where military is camping. But it is also a city, so he had all types of people there. So Krishna Adbhutam Achikarat. And it was very wonderful. No other city like this, as this will be described. So Samudra Madhye Dvadas Yojanamiti. In the midst of the sea and 12 yojanas long. So how much is one yojana? He is describing that. Ashtabhiryav madhyai syad angulam dvadasangulam tale tritalako hasto dvau kiskuruchyate kisku dvayam dhanu proktam dhanuso dushrasarkam krosho tu gavyutir tau dvetu yojanam iti tanmadhyanagaram. So he gives a whole description that if you take 8 barley, that makes 2 fingers of 1 angula. Then 12 fingers make 1 tala, 3 talas make 1 hand, 2 hands make 1 kishku, 2 kishku make 1 dhanu, 1 bow, and 2000 bows make 1 krosha, and 2 krosha make 1 gavyuti, and 2 gavyuti make 1 yojana. So that much is 1 yojana. So then in the next 3 slokas, he describes 4. Drishyate yatra hi tvashtram vigyanam shilpanaipunam rathya chatvara vithibhir yatha vastu nirmitam. So this is the description of that city in brief, that you see the best work of son of Tvashta, that is Vishwakarma. So Vishwakarma is known as the architect of the Devas. So although Krishna made it, but he used Vishwakarma to design and act. So all his Shilpa Napunam, his expertise of his architect could be seen here in Dwarka. So it has very nice roads and crossroads. Rathya Chatwar. Chatwar is where 4 roads meet together, like circle you see generally in the Europe cities. And then Vithi, so nice paths inside, and Vastu, it was according to the Vastu Shastra. And Suradruma Latodyanam Vichitropavananvitam Hema Shringadibhir Visprighi Sphatikatta Lagopurai. So he says that it has trees which are generally found in the heaven. Means very extraordinary. Druma, trees, Lata, creepers, Udyan, gardens, and Upavana. So Upavana and Udyana, came before also. One is fruits, other is flowers. So Upavana is which gives fruits, Udyan is flowers. So everybody, nice forests, flowers, gardens, not crowded. And Hema Shringair Divis Prigbhi. And there were houses, golden in color, touching the sky. And Sphatika Talagopurai. So they are made from Spatik Mani. And Gopura is the front tower entrance. And Rajatarakutai Koshtair Hemakumbhair Alankritaihi Ratnakutair Grihe Hemair Mahamarkatastalai. Then there were also Rajatarakutai. So there were golden or silver sallows, big sallows for storing grains, etc. Right? You see that? Especially in America, I have seen big ones. And big houses, rooms, having golden kumbhas, hema kumbha, for storing things, and gopura. Gopura is entrance gate. So like palaces, etc. have nice entrance. And hema kumbhair alankritai, decorated with the golden pots. Ratnakutair, grihair, So houses with various types of gems, gold, Mahamarkata. Markat is what? Lapis lazuli, sthalai. And Vastospatinam cha grihair valbhischa nirmitam Chaturvarna janakirnam yadudeva griholashat. And there were also temples for worship and in front of the houses, and Valabhi is like a small terrace kind of thing made. And there were people of all the four varnas. Brahmanas were there, Kshatriyas of course, Yadavas. There were also shops, malls were there, big malls for the Vaishyas to sell things. And Shudras means various types of artisans, potters, washermen. So all this. And Yadudeva Griholasat. And in the center were the houses of the great Yadavas like Ugrasena, Vasudeva, Krishna, Balaram. So they had their separate palaces in the center. So this is how Dwarka was. So Tvashtraye Vijnanam Vishwakarmana Pandityam. So Tvashtram Vijnana means the expertise of Vishwakarma. Shilpe Silp Karmani, in the architect. Napunyam Yatastat Nagaram Vishnasti. Then the city is described in 3.5 slokas. Rathya Rajmarga. Rathya means the highways. Chatwari Anganani. Chatwar here translates as the courtyard. Vithya Upmarga. Vithya means the small roads connecting to the highways. And Vastu Griha Vinirmana Sthana. Vastu means the Griha Vinirmana Sthan. Tamanati Kramme Nirmita means near the house. Rajatam cha Arkutam Pitam Loham cha Tabhyam Nirmita. So Rajatam cha Arkutam cha, he says it is made of Pitam Loham cha. Pitam, gold and iron. So Ratnakutai, various types of gems, Padmaraga, yellow sapphire, Vishikrai. So big towers. Vastospatinam Devanam, then there are houses for the Devas for worshipping. And Valbhi is Chandrashalabhi. And then Valbhi, Chandrashala is like you have the little rooms on the roof where you can sit in the summer, look at the moon. That is called Chandrashala. And Yadudeva Sri Krishna Tasya Grihe Utkarshena Lasat. And Yadudeva means Sri Krishna. So his house was in the center. So when this city was built, then the various devas, they offered also different items. So Dwarka was very opulent. So Dharma Parijatam cha Mahendra Pahino Dharehe Yatra cha Vastito Martyo Martya Dharmair Nayujyate. So Indra sent two things. One is that he sent his assembly house, which is called Sudharma. So Sudharma is a assembly house of Indra where he holds his meetings, his programs, his music, dance, etc. So he sent it to Dwarka. So just like these days you have movable houses where you can move the house, you bring these big trucks, you can load them, the whole house, and take it. So in the olden days, in the heaven, they had assembly houses which were also movable like that you can fly them. because no truck, they are up in, so they can travel by space. So therefore this Sudharma assembly house, it was brought down by the rocket. So it came to Dwarka and landed there. And they also had Parijata trees from there. Parijata is one of the trees which came out from the churning of the ocean. So later on Krishna will also bring one Parijata from there. But here it says Parijata, that means this must be a different variety than the one which Narada brought, flower by which he gave it to Rukmani, and then Satyabhama said, I want. Otherwise Indra has already sent it. But that story will come later. So that means Parijata must have different varieties. Just like we have the Champaka, there are yellow Champakas, white ones. Or lotus is different types. So what is the characteristic of this Sudharma? So he says, Yatra cha avasthito martyo marta dharmairna yujyate. That this house has the quality, this assembly house, that if you go inside this assembly house, means a mortal being, person from the earth, and he goes inside, then he is not disturbed by the mortal qualities. Means characteristics such as hunger, thirst, going to bathroom. So you don't have these problems once you are inside. So you can have meeting for 8-10 hours, you don't need to go to bathroom. Because human beings have that problem. And death also cannot enter in this. So janmritu jaravyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So this Sudharma is free. And once you enter in this house, you are naturally religious. That's why it is Sudharma. You cannot talk irreligiously there. So psychologically you get influenced by the energy of the place. Place also has its own energy. So once you enter the house, so you become dharmic, like Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samvedaya Utsava. So that's what he's saying. Martya dharmaina yujyate, that you don't have any influence of the mortal qualities. And Syamaik Karnan Varuno Hayan Chuklan Mano Javan Ashtau Nidhipati Koshan Lokpalo Nijodayan. And then Varuna, he sent many horses. And these horses are very special. The characteristic of these horses is that they have their right ear black in color. They are white all over the body, but one ear is black. So they are called Shamakarna, but only one ear. So these are special. So Hayan Chuklan Manojayan. So they are white horse, because fairies are also described as going on white horses or white wings. So they are the horses of Varuna. Sometimes there are people like that their body is like a horse, but they have a human face. Right? They're flying. They have wings also. So these horses also, they run at the speed of mind, Manojavan. So they are not running with their feet. They must have wings, like a jet plane, supersonic jet. So they can move at the speed of the... So all these things which science is trying to do now, they are already at least having in their description. Supersonic horses. Yeah, Manojava is described here. And then Kubera, he sent his 8 type of treasury, Nidhi, and all the others. So yad bhagavata dattam adhipatyam susiddhaye sarvam pratyaparamashur haro bhumi gate nripa. So because all these devatas, whatever siddhis they have, whatever opulence they have, this is given by Krishna. So now when Krishna has appeared on earth, they are giving it back to him for his service. That's what it says. Sarvam pratyap arpayamas, means they returned. Tatra yoga prabhavena nitva sarva janam hari prajapalena ramena Krishna samanumantritaha nirjagama puradvarat padmali nirayudha. So then what Krishna did, that by his yogic power, because he is also Yogeshwara, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. So when all these Mathuravasis were sleeping at night, so he carried them to Dwarka, and in the morning when they wake up in this wonderful palaces and everything nice, and they forgot Mathura. So he says, Tatra yoga prabhavena nitva sarvajanam hari. So he carried everybody, and Prajapalena Ramena Krishna samanantrita. So he had consulted with Balram and did this, and then he left Balram inside Mathura, and he came out. Now when the whole army and Kalayavana is there, so Nirjagama Puradvarat Padma Mali Nirayudha. So Krishna comes out with the main gate of Mathura, and he is having a lotus garland and no weapons. So he just comes out. So this is because he wanted to trick Kalayavana. So that's what he did. So Parihatam cha prahinot suk parikshit samvadat puru bhutatvat bhuta nirdesha. So he says Parijat was sent, and this is because it is a description between Sukdeva and Parikshit, so he is talking about past. Nidhipati Kubera, Nidhipati is Kubera, Koshan Nidhin, so treasury, and described Padmaschaiva Mahapadmo Matsya Kurmas Tatha Udakaha Nilo Mukunda Sankhascha Nidhyo Ashto Prakriti. These are the 8 types of treasuries which are called Padma, Mahapadma, Matsya, Kurma, Udaka, Nila, Mukunda and Sankha. Iti Nijodayan Sviya Sampatti, so his own wealth he sent. Yogo Yoga Maya Tat Prabhavena Tat Prakare Padmottar Khande Yatha. So yoga, by his yoga he carried everybody to Dwarka. So he says yoga here means Yoga Maya, and this is described in the Uttarakhanda of Padma Purana. Shushuptan Mathurayam tu Paurans Tatra Janardana Udhritya Sahasharatra Dwarkayam Naveshiyat. So when Mathuravasis they were sleeping at night, then Krishna he uplifted all of them suddenly, and at night itself he brought them to Dwarka. Prabudhaste jana sarve putradara samanvita himmiharmatale vishta vismayam paramam yayu. So in the morning when they woke up, and they saw that they were all along with all their family members, children, wives, servants, everybody, but they were in all these big nice houses made from gold, etc. So they were very surprised. Says, what is this? Are we dreaming or this is real? Are we awake? Because it looked like a dream. So Ravena Saha Samanumantrita, he has consulted with Balram. Tvamatraiva muhurtha tishta hamaniya yuktya imam ghatishreti krita mantrena. So what was the consultancy? He told to Balram that you stay here and I will take care of this Kalayavana. So you stay back and I fix this guy. So iti sarartha darshinyam harshinyam bhakta chetsam dasme sangata panchashattama sangatasti. So this is the end of chapter 50. In the next chapter there will be killing of Kalayavana by Muchkunda. Stop here if there is any question to ask. Okay, Mohini.
I just won $100 bet.
So Daoji said that he was about to lose $100 and you saved him.
I have a question about the beginning of the chapter when you was explaining that Krishna comes to protect Dharma and approve adharma, and then you said that to follow Dharma one also has to follow certain principles. And could you please explain what are the principles of Dharma? Which
Being
one has
truthful.
To follow? Being truthful.
Number
these
one.
are-
First, being truthful.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes, so these are basically the yam and niyamas of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra.
Yeah, they are included.
Okay. And I still have that question when you say that adharma manifests in due course of time. So is it correct to say that adharma manifests only in Bhur-Bhuva and Svaha, but in realms which lie beyond this Bhur-Bhuva and Svaha, there adharma does not come into the mind of people?
Sometimes it comes. Like Brahma was also attracted to his daughter. Indra also doing many times things like that.
But Indra lives on Indraloka, and that is a part of Svargaloka. That is not a part of Maharloka, Janaloka.
Okay,
Tapaloka.
then think of Brahma.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, who is there? Nile Roads, what is his name?
Pranam Babaji, you haven't met me before, but I've been sitting in on some of the classes. Is it all right if I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask.
Thank you, thank you. My question was about the ahankara. So my understanding is that our long-term goal should be to reduce the ahankara as much as possible, or maybe even dissolve it completely if we can. But in the meantime, I think I might have a fairly big ahankara. So if I find myself in a situation where it gets injured or something, what's clearly what Gargya did wasn't right. I mean, doing the long tapasya to try to get revenge wasn't the correct way to handle an injured ahankara. So what's the correct way to handle an injured ahankara?
So first of all, we hear this statement very often, give up your ahankara, give up your pride. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of giving up, because it's just like I say, you have a hand and with your hand you are beating somebody, then I say give up your hand. So you cannot give up your hand. It's part of your body. So like that ahankara is part of your body, subtle body, mind, intelligence, ahankara. You cannot give it up. And if you have to give it up, who is going to give it up? With what will you give it up? And how will you give it up? Because to give it up you need another ahankara. Without ahankara you cannot do anything. Ahankara is the agent. So it is not a question of giving up. We may speak like that, but the point is to utilize it properly. So if we have the ahankara that I am devotee of Krishna, then that ahankara is harmless. But when we think I am independent, then it becomes harmful. So we have to understand that our ahankara, our mind, like Krishna says, man bana bhav mad bhakta, fix your mind on me, or mayi eva manadhatsva mayi buddhim niveshe. So all this mind, buddhi, ahankara, etc., they are meant to serve Krishna. like our hands, legs, eyes, like we hear about Ambarish Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padar Vindayo. So, Vachansi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnani. So he was engaging everything in the service of Krishna, not that he was giving up. So giving up is the part of Gyan Marg, and utilizing it in service, that is Bhakti Marg. So we have to utilize them in the service of Krishna. And when we do not have the ahankara that I am a devotee, I am independent, then my ahankara is very sensitive, then it gets bruised when someone says something. So that's where the problem comes. Otherwise, what is there? Somebody calls you important, just hear it and move on. You don't become important because someone says it. But that is possible only if we think ourselves as devoted to Krishna, then we are humble. Right? Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna, then we are tolerant. That's why Mahaprabhu said, be tolerant. So, you have to actually go beyond that, even that where you don't need to be tolerant. Tolerant also means something is actually troubling you. You are tolerating it. But when it actually doesn't trouble you anymore.
And I suppose if our ahankara is always, if we can eventually get our ahankara connected to Krishna in some way, then because Krishna is eternal and doesn't go through various ups and downs and stuff, then when we have the ups and downs in the world, our ahankara won't feel as injured, sort of, or maybe that's not quite right.
Yeah, we have to align ourselves with Krishna. That is the meaning of having Sharanagati, taking shelter of Krishna. So once we take shelter of Krishna, then our ahankara cannot be bruised. It becomes immune to all this. Right now, it is very sensitive. Means it has no immunity at all. Like when we have low immunity, then you become allergic to small dust particles for small things. But when you have good immunity, these things make no difference to you. So we have to become immune to all these dust particles in the form of praise and criticism. And that is only possible when we align our ahankara with Krishna, with Guru. Otherwise we keep on suffering. People suffer so much because of this. Somebody says one statement, then your whole day is spoiled. Ahankara is very, very sensitive. Ahankara is like you have your body without skin. Think of your body without skin. Even a little fan air will trouble you. So people are going around. Imagine that there is a city in which everybody is skinless. So how much they will be hurting each other. Somebody touches somebody touches another person, it will be so painful. Nobody wants to be near to anyone. So people are actually like that. They are getting hurt by very small thing, then you go on blog, then you go on social media, then you write this, then you write that. All the time. So much sensitivity. So this will remain like this only unless you become devotee in the true sense of the word. Devotee does not simply mean I change my dress. It's change of heart. And then you feel actually happy. It's for your benefit. Sometimes we think that we are doing some favor to somebody by becoming devotee. No, you do favor to yourself. If you can favor yourself, that's the best thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So sometimes, related to the ahankara and the subtle body, sometimes the question comes, where the subtle body is located? And my answer or my understanding is that it is beyond space, because when we see the evolution of elements, then from chitta comes ahankara, and then from ahankara come the elements, but also in parallel come the mind and the buddhi and the senses. So therefore, is it
So
correct to
these
say
things
that
themselves are space. They are space-like. They are spacey.
so therefore show all pervading?
So this
right?
Mahat-tattva, Ahankara, they are also type of space. That's why they can be very big. Subtle things are like that. Otherwise, where are they existing before space comes into existence? So they don't need this space. That space comes from that space only. Otherwise, where is Prakriti existing when there is no Akasha? You say Akasha. So Akasha is giving space to grosser things. But these are like subtle form of Akasha. They are subtler than Akasha. So that's why you can have Ahankara, Aham Brahmasmi. Otherwise it will not be even possible to conceive this, if it was not subtle like that.
Conceive what exactly?
That I can be Brahman. You can conceive it because Ahankara can actually be like that. It can identify. To identify with something, you have to have the ability. So therefore it is said, Sacha Anantaya Kalpate. Keshagra Sat Bhagasya Satadha Kalpitasya Cha Jiva Bhago Savigya Sacha Anantaya Kalpate. So even one Brahma, he is also a Jiva, but he can spread his awareness through the whole Brahmanda. This whole Brahmanda is his body. So it can spread that much. Limitless.
So therefore all the subtle bodies of all people, of all beings, they pervade everything.
No, they don't pervade everything. They are limited now into this body only. They have the ability to pervade, but not that they are pervading. That is why it is called conditioning. It becomes conditioned. Your Ahankara is conditioned by this body. So now it is only in this body.
Okay, so it is only in this body, but it by constitution it is beyond the limits of this body. It's
like yogis. That's how yogis can see things. Means they can break this conditioning. That's what it means. They can see things past, present and future. They can see things beyond the wall. They can see things in another country. How is it possible? Unless you come in contact with that object. So that means they are able to transgress the boundary of the body. So at this level, this logic does not work. The Newtonian physics does not work at the quantum level. So therefore, at the level of the subtle body level, the principles of the gross body don't apply.